guys, it's Makita here, and thank you again for coming back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you about the difficulties that I experience as a reader. Some of these are going to be based on the books, some of these are going to be based on my experience, and some of these are just going to be based on the fact that I enjoy books and these are some things that I deal with. So let's dive in. Number 1. Wait a minute. I would like to take a moment to ask you to please watch the entire video. There are things I'm going to say that you might not like, but I explain everything in detail. I also ask that you realize that these are my difficulties, as I am sure that you have your own. We may have different perspectives, but we can still have a conversation. If you disagree or have something to say, please leave a comment below. I want to hear from you. Thanks. Now you can proceed. How to Conquer Big Books. Do you see this book? This is Fall of Giants by Kent Follett. I've been told that Kent Follett is a really good writer, but his books are extremely big. This is the mass market paperback version of this book. It is 942 pages. I'm going to do a buddy read of this book with someone soon so that I can go ahead and tackle it, but this is one of the things that I struggle with. I wonder if the book is going to be able to continue to captivate me and suck me in and hold my attention while I read it. I don't want to get 400 pages in and then I'm no longer interested in the book. I've read big books before. One of my favorite writers, Francine Rivers, writes really big books. And I think the cap that I've gotten to is about 400 or 500 pages. But she's my favorite author. You know, what about the other books that are that big? Are they good enough? Will they hold my attention? Deciding which books I'm going to read. I mean, with all the books that I have and everything that I enjoy reading, there's so much to choose from. Sometimes I'm just not sure what to read. And to top it off, I'm a mood reader, so I like to read depending on the mood that I'm in. But at the same time, once I dive into a book, I want to finish it. I don't want to read 15 million books at one time. 1 or 2 is good enough for me. So this is for the fiction. The third difficulty that I experience is the lack of a realistic, captivating plot. I don't just want a bunch of realism in a fiction story that can't captivate me. I want it to be full of realism, very realistic, but I also want it to be captivating. I don't just want to watch someone's life. If I wanted to do that, I pick up a memoir. So, you know, there has to be some sort of balance here. It's just one of the things that I struggle with as I read. Another difficulty that I really experience, especially because of my worldview, is explicit, foul language, and strong sexual content. I'm not a reader who enjoys reading erotica, and I don't want to fill my reading with foul language because it's just not something that I'm into. So when I pick up a book, no matter how good it is, I understand that there are going to be times where a character slips up and they may curse, but I really don't want the book to be filled with that. And there has to be a point to it. It can't just be saying anything they want to say here and there and throwing it everywhere. That's not my type of book. So it becomes something that I struggle with because I see a lot of people that I listen to when it comes to book reviews. They recommend certain books and then I pick the book up and it's full of bad language and I put the book down. That's it. That's what I do with it because it's not appealing to me. It's something that I struggle with. If it's a nonfiction book, I'm looking for the opinion to be based upon factual information or at least explained. This causes me oftentimes to just put the book down because I don't just want to know what you think. I want to know why you think it. What made you think that way? Did you read something, experience something, do something? Did someone tell you something that caused you to feel and think the way that you do? A lack of characters that have various racial and ethnic backgrounds. I enjoy reading a lot of books, But sometimes it's very difficult because none of the characters are black or Hispanic or Indian. They're just all white. And I don't have a problem with white people or white authors or white characters because one of my favorite authors, many of my favorite authors, are white. Still, I have a problem because only white people are depicted in the book, as if there are no people of other ethnicities or racial variations anywhere else in the world. Unfortunately, this is something that I struggle with. But as a reader, you just suck it up and turn the page, right? I have a difficulty in reading some books written by black writers. The reason for that is many times the book is filled of sexual innuendos and explicit language and detail that I cannot seem to get around. I don't understand why that is full, why our books are full of all that. But I'm trying to expand my reading, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to expand and read more African American or black literature because I am convinced that not all the books are the same. I'm just going to have to search and find it. But this is a difficulty for me because I don't understand why when I go to Books a Million or Barnes and Nobles, I can't take my children into the African American section because all the covers look the same. They're all sexual covers. And that just tells me about the book. Where are the books that are not like this? And then when I do read them, when I do find the books that are not solely based upon this, they still have deeply rooted sexual content in the book. Is there any way to get around it? Or can they talk about it in a way that does not turn someone like me off? There is a way to do it. It's one of the reasons why I like the authors that I do. Debbie McComber, Francine Rivers, Karen Kingsbury. They write their stories in a way that is clean. It's not, it doesn't remove romance. It doesn't remove the things that have happened. And I tell you, Francine Rivers does not remove the pain. It's still there. The situations are still there. But she leaves some things up to our mind. That's the point of the book. I don't want to see it. I don't want to read about it. I just want you to tell me, get to the point, and let's move on. So these two issues, the one that I just said and the one that I just said, there are two things that really bother me about reading fiction. And it's one of the reasons why I have stuck with nonfiction for so long. But I want to get into the more fiction, so I'm doing it. And I'm struggling. But I just want to say that I do understand, though. I do understand that there's going to be certain things that are in African American books, that are in black books, that are not going to be in other books. Just like there are going to be certain things that are in white books or Indian books or, Muslim books or Korean books or Hispanic books. There are going to be certain things in all these different books that are not found in different books because we all have different cultures, we all have different lifestyles, we all have different worldviews. But why is the same thing in all books? Where is the variety? Yes, I know sex sells, but can we get something else? Can we get a little bit more of life? A little bit more of the learning, a little bit more of the detail. Maybe it should be just because of my Christian worldview that I feel this way. I don't know. Could just be me. But hey, this is what I struggle with. Another difficulty that I experience when I am reading my books, actually when I'm picking out the books, is a lack of information found on the back cover or the dust jacket about whether or not this is a novel or a book of short stories it really lacks a lot of detail, and it's frustrating. Deceptive book covers. I have picked up many books because of the book cover, and that's my fault. I know. You shouldn't judge a book based on its cover, but as a book lover, I do. And sometimes I don't want to read what the book is about, and the book cover I think is going to explain to me what the book is about, and the book title is going to explain to me what the book is about. And I'm looking at the reviews, and I open the book, and the book is nothing like its deceptive cover. The 10th difficulty that I experience as a reader is the lack of Christian book reviews on popular books. You know, I know everybody's not a Christian. I know everybody's not reading Christian books. And I know that a lot of the hype of YouTube is to read books that everybody else is reading because we want to talk. That's the purpose. That's why we're here. We want to have a conversation about books. I mean, we love books, and many of us say that the people in our lives don't love books as much as we do. They just don't. And there's nothing wrong with them, nothing wrong with us, but we just have different tastes. So we come here in the BookTube community and we read books and we discuss them. And what I find is that there is a lack of biblical perspective being given to some of these books. I mean, I pick up books and I find that they just are not what I'm looking for. And I like listening to the book reviewers, and I like listening to the booktubers, and I like seeing what everyone else is reading. But many times when I start reading it, I just realize this is not a book for me. This is not a book that I think I want to read. The details were missing about some of the key elements that I would have found uninteresting because they don't go with my worldview. They don't go with my lifestyle. They don't go with my perspective. And so this is one of the biggest difficulties that I face. My bookshelves have been filled with books from recommendations of people that we just don't agree. And there are just certain things I don't want to fill myself with. So I've decided that I'm going to review some books, and they may be hard for me to read. They may be difficult for me to experience, and I may not enjoy them. But I want to be a voice with a biblical worldview here on BookTube. And I don't want to pretend. I don't want to pretend that I enjoy reading everything. I don't want to pretend that, oh, that was such a good book and I loved it because you loved it. High five. No. I want to be real about it. I want to tell you why I didn't like the book that you liked, and that we can still talk here. We can still have this conversation about the books. I want to be respectful of you and you be respectful of me. But I want you to be real in your reviews. And I want you to tell me if there is some content in it that is not appropriate for younger readers, that is not acceptable to biblical readers, that is not, that somebody may find offensive. You don't have to think about everybody and everything. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just asking you to be real about the book. And if it was a difficult read, if the book was a difficult read, tell me why the book was a difficult read. Don't just say it was hard. You know, I listened to a booktuber recently, and I took her advice. I can't even think of what her name is right now, but she said, "Do not." I'm gonna find her, and I'm gonna link her here. It was hard for me to listen to her. I wanted to turn her off, and she was cursing, she was getting upset, but she was being honest, she was being real. So I gave her my time, and she put out the video. So I wanted to hear what the sister had to say, and here's what she had to say. She said, "Don't start reading a book and not finish it, and then review it." She said because you can't really review a book if you have not read it. She said, don't read halfway and then close the book and then do a review and then tell me not to read it, because you don't know if at the end of the book the whole thing had been touched, the topic had been touched upon, the thing that you didn't like had been touched upon. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I wanted to put this book down. I didn't want to keep reading this book. But you know what I thought about? I thought about the fact that I could not honestly tell somebody what this book was about and what was filled between the cover, the beautiful, beautiful cover. I couldn't tell somebody about the darkness that I found in the book if I had not read all the way through the book. And the whole time I read through the book, I kept saying, what is the point? What is the point? Please tell me there's a point to all of this madness. And what I found was there was no point. But that's another video. A video I will do and I will post. I started today, but I couldn't finish it because my kids came home, and that book is something serious. So these are my difficulties that I experienced as a reader, and it's something that I wanted to talk about, something that I wanted to bring up, something that I wanted to post, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you want to tell me about your difficulties, how about I tag you and you could tag somebody else? Because I would love to know what difficulties you experience as well. And let's have a conversation about it. I'm so glad that you stuck with me to the end. I appreciate you tuning in. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and take a moment to subscribe. I would love it if you would connect with me on Instagram and Twitter at Mrs. R Bookish, and join in with us on a quarterly readathon. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. Francine, I just... No, you're not gonna be in the background of my video. Get out of here. Oh. Another thing I experienced is my kids trying to be in my videos. Oh. Okay.